welcome back to the another biology session in the part of evolution. In the chapter evolution, in the first we completed some theories regarding origin of life. Later, in the very last video session, Stanley Miller's experiment or Miller's urine experiment that explains how chemical theory of origin of life happened. In this class, you are going to learn about theories that belongs to evolution. The major difference between theories of origin of life and theories of evolution is how the life comes in the world. How chemicals are evoluted becomes a life. That is what the theory, chemical evolution theory. And some other postulates given by the special creation, biogenesis, everything is different. All the set of theories that belongs to how life has arisen. But in this class you are going to learn about once life has been arisen, how it has been updated, how it is acquired, how it is adopted, and till today how life has been changed. That is what evolution theories. Evolution theories, there are many, but according to NCERT, if you are mentioned, the first one is Darwinism. First one is Darwinism, and second one is Neo-Darwinism. Neo-Darwinism. This Neo-Darwinism is also called modern theory of evolution. Modern theory of evolution. Another name is also there for this modern theory of evolution or Neo-Darwinism, that is synthetic theory. Synthetic theory. The next. Third theory is Lamarckism. Lamarckism is also called theory of inheritance or acquired characters. And this is also called somatoplasm theory. Somatoplasm theory. And fourth one is Neo-Lamarckism. Neo-Lamarckism. What is Neo-Lamarckism? Updation of Lamarckism. It is called germplasm theory. Germplasm theory. The last theory regarding the evolution part is mutational theory. Mutational theory. Okay. These five briefly we are going to learn today. First one is Darwinism. Let us begin. Firstly, what? Darwinism. Charles Darwin, who is called father of evolution, proposed some postulates that are called Darwinism. Darwinism simply called natural selection. Theory of natural selection we can call up simply. That is briefly Darwinism. Darwin is a scientist when he was travel towards Galapagos Islands in the South America by a special scientific research ship that is called Beagle. Beagle is the name of the ship in which Darwin traveled to some islands. There he identified some kind of different types of finch birds, nothing but they are called Darwin birds later. This is, we will discuss about the examples for natural selection in the next class. But he studied Malthus books, that is, so Darwin was inspired by a book, Essay on Population, written by the scientist Malthus. And he also studied about the origin of species and all. Finally, he concluded few things. What are the postulates of the Darwinism is a very important thing. The first one is every organism has a capacity to reproduce, that is called prodigality. Prodigality. Prodigality means a capacity of reproduction is present. If it is increased as such, then what will happen? Population increase. When population increase, definitely imbalance takes place between the food and place for the nothing but living space and other resources. So that imbalance taken place for food, source and space. Food and other resources, nothing but mating, as well as for the living space, everything, the competition takes, nothing but imbalance takes place. So population will be increases, source cannot be increases, so the imbalance takes place between the population and resources. That time struggling will be takes place. That's called struggle for existence. Struggle for existence, to live, to eat, to cope up. So much of competition takes place. That is why struggling. This struggling is maybe intraspecific or interspecific or environmental. What does all three mean? So struggling means what? It is very tough to get the food or space. Why? Because too much of population. That is why if it is the intraspecific means what? Competition or struggling between same species. Interspecific means what? Between. So here same species. Example, if the two tigers are fighting for the same food, nothing but a deer, then that is called intraspecific. Whereas interspecific means what? Between two different species. Clear? Suppose the same deer hunting by tiger as well as lion. Tiger and lion are both two different species. Because of their forage habits, means their habit of the same eating habits, they are fighting for them. That is why it is called interspecific. But environmental, sometimes due to the floods, due to the natural calamities, some natural calamities, food and resources will be isolated or reduced. That is also a natural competitor. But compared to the intraspecific, interspecific is less. Why? Because two different species can fight for only food, sometimes shelter. But intraspecific struggling is very harder because the same type of species are fighting for food, reproductive habits, as well nothing but mating, as well as sources, nothing but the state. That is why intraspecific competition is more dangerous. Now, if they are struggling, suppose there were 4 tigers are there, one tiger is dominating other 3, then it will easily get the food. Means that is what? Survival of fittest. Survival of fittest. If it want to be survive, it has to be fit. Other than that, that is a race of life. So whenever it is survival, because of showing its fitness, then it will have food, it will have a space, and it will have all the resources without any problem. But others will be problem who are failed to show their fitness, then they cannot be survival. When they are survival, we will select them. Natural selection takes place. Suppose when giraffes are evolved, natural selection was a good example. Suppose they got a problem to get the food. That time they have stretched their neck towards the heights of the tree. That's why the terminal parts also they use it to catch the food. Because of that, they are selected by nature. If they are not adapted their character, they cannot be seen by us today. So that another thing is, when they are adapted characters by natural selection, then the characters will be acquired. Characters will be acquired. Acquired means what? Adopted. They are adopted and the characters will be inherited. The characters will be inherited, inheriting of acquired characters. Acquired characters. So, prodigality will be there. If the prodigality increases, imbalance takes place between the food and organisms. Then strugglings takes place. If the strugglings are three types: intraspecific, interspecific, or environmental. Then one will prove themselves, others will fail. Who fails will be eliminated. Who proven themselves will be survived by the showing fitness. Next, they will be selected by the nature in the race. Next, these characters will be acquired and transferred to the next generation. After inheriting these characters, new species will form. That is called speciation. What is speciation? Formation of new species. Formation of new species is called speciation. So speciation is the result of natural selection. That's why natural selection is most familiar theory given by the Darwin. So Darwin postulates are simply 8. What is the first one? Prodigality. Second one, population increase so that imbalance takes place for the food and sources for the higher increased population. Struggle for existence is the result by imbalance of food. That struggle may be intra or inter or environmental, some natural calamities. So because of that, showing fitness, organisms will be survival. That's the survival of fitness. Next, natural selections. So nature will select to the nature will select the organisms though have fitness. Though do not have a fitness will be eliminated, it seems. Next, such organisms who are selected by the nature, their characters will be acquired. Successful adaptations will be acquired and transferred to their offsprings through the genes. These inherited characters are acquired. Later, new species will come because of adaptations. That is why it is called speciation. New species will formed by acquiring characters is the theme of natural selection. So, natural selection is proposed by Darwinism. Then what is Neo-Darwinism? Let us see. Neo-Darwinism. So, Darwinism is the most popularized evolution theory in which there was one drawback. Darwin explained survival of fittest, but he failed to explain arrival of fittest. How to overcome the problem he did not explain. The one who overcome the problem will be selected by the nature was kept under the natural selection, but the one who failed, how to overcome the problem he doesn't explain. Means he explained survival of fittest but not arrival of fittest. So that after some allegations, Darwin again proposed new theory along with the natural selection, that is gene variability. So means Neo-Darwinism means updated Darwin theory consists of two important aspects. Number one is natural selection, already proposed in the Darwinism, and number two is gene variability. What is gene variability? Let us see. Gene variability is an important aspect of Neo-Darwinism, which consists of four important postulates. Number one is mutation. What is mutation? Sudden changes occurs in the gene sequences. Already in the molecular basis of inheritance, we have seen some adaptations. Suppose sickle cell anemia. In the hemoglobin amino acid sequences in the polypeptide, if one amino acid is replaced by another amino acid, then function of RBC will be changed because of its shape. Just like that, if any single gene, it is a point mutation or entire the sequence of gene is replaced or substituted or deleted, whatever it is, then that is called frame shift mutations. Then their normal genotypes will be changed, then their characters also will be changed. So that is how mutations takes place in the generations. These mutations are carried out by the offsprings and few new species will be provided. That is why mutations are very important for the evolution. We can say mutations are driving evolution. Next one is recombinations. During sexual life cycle, during sexual cell division, nothing but meiotic division, so many recombinations takes place in the pachytene and zygote, so that characters are recombinant and random. They are also considered as hybridization. Suppose self-pollination is compared to the very least characteristics of the cross-pollination. Cross-pollination is much better. Means new forms, nothing but hybrid forms are generating due to the variability. Then last one is genetic drift. What is genetic drift? In a small population, due to a sudden change or natural calamity, after that calamity, the rest of organisms creates new species. Suppose there was an island is there. Island means all the sides there was a water. Suddenly a tsunami like calamity happened. So when tsunami hits the smaller island, all the population, 99% of people will be died or disabled. But 10% who skipped that calamity are adapting characters after the calamity in this particular geographical area. Means after tsunami, in that geographical area, so many changes will occur. According to that changes, the 10% of remained people who are not affected by that calamity will show new characters and form speciations. That is called genetic drift. So, gene changes occurs in the mutation, gene pool, nothing but genetic sequences changes in the population is called genetic drift. It should be less population or limited population. It is also explained by bottleneck experiment. So, genetic drift is explained by bottleneck experiment. It is also called founder's effect. Founder's effect. Bottleneck experiment means if you take a narrow neck bottle, you just fill all the stones. Suddenly you flip it or invert it, all the stones cannot fallen down. Very few stones will be fallen down and rest of things will be stuck. So when we invert the bottle, if you assume that inversion of the bottle is a problem or calamity, most of them are arrested, few are escaping. Like that, when calamity comes, few are escaping, they will be survived as with new characters and forming a new species. They are called founders. I hope you understand the genetic drift concept. So that natural selection and genetic drift, these two are explained in the Neo-Darwinism. And we have discussed the two theories. One is Darwinism, another one is Neo-Darwinism. Let us see. The next one is Lamarckism. Jean-Baptiste Lamarck he studied based on the comparisons between the fossils and living organisms. He proposed some postulates. They are new needs. Whenever organism is developing, then new needs, whenever the changes occurs place in the surroundings or environments, we have to change ourselves. That is called new needs. So these new needs, according to the changes occurs in surrounding or environment. Fine. So when new needs happening, then such characters will be acquired. Acquired means what? Adopted. Then these characters will be inherited through the somatoplasm. Somatoplasm means cytoplasm. Then they are inherited to the offsprings through they are inherited to the next generations through offsprings. So then new species are coming, that is called speciation. Example, if you take giraffe neck. Here when characters are acquired, one important thing is there, use and disuse of organs. This is a very important postulate in the Lamarckism. What is use and what is disuse? Suppose whenever the new needs are happen, that time unnecessary parts of our body, those are since decades or centuries are not using for a particular function, will divide their function, where some organs of our body are highly involving, are actively involving to do a function since centuries, then it will be developed in their function or anatomically or morphologically. So that whenever you use some organs for a particular function, in the evolution they are driving, whereas whenever you are ignoring the function of a particular organ, it will be avoided. Suppose human do not have a tails, whereas our ancestors have a tail-like structures. In the journey of evolution of a human, so the particular function is avoided by the human tail, so that human tail is reduced and become coaxial. Like that, more than 100 vestigial organs are there in our body. Suppose if you see this nictitating membrane is reduced into the eye bulb, wisdom teeth, appendix, so many. If you use an organ in the part of evolution, it will be activated and modified much, and whenever you neglect a particular organ, nothing but tissues, it will become less down or go down. Then how the giraffe neck is an example. Giraffe used neck part for the elongation of its head portion to catch up the leaves present in the taller parts of the tree. So the neck only elongated, not any other body part. Then such character is acquired and transferred to the other generations. So this is how the Lamarck explained whenever characters are acquired, they use it to transfer. But after Lamarckism, August Weismann, who is that? August Weismann is the scientist, started allegation if according to the somatoplasm theory or Lamarckism, if characters which are adapted since hundreds of years are crossing the generations, then according to the Hindu mythology, so many years since, Indian women used to having bows on the nose to having the nose stud and ears to having the ornaments like earrings since thousands of years. But why not a new baby girl who just born doesn't have these borings by birth? If it is also acquired character, not happening. And August Weismann also conducted an experiment 20 generations with the rat. First generation, a rat gave birth, then all the just newborn babies has been cut off their tails. Later their generations are given the second generation, just born rat having the tails. Without the tail, no rat has been born. So the third generation, fourth, fifth, continuously he is cutting the every generation rat tails. But even 21st generation also is even being cutting the every new generation rat tails. 21st generation rat also born along with the tail. Over the generation tails are removing, but that is not inheriting. So that somatoplasm theory is wrong. Then Lamarck studied on that and concluded the new theory. The acquired characters are inherited in their germ cells. Then through the germplasm, characters are inheriting from mothers to daughters or sons, nothing but parents to offsprings. Then that is called germplasm theory. August Weismann helps to found germplasm theory. The germplasm theory is also called Neo-Lamarckism. Neo-Lamarckism. So first Lamarckism explained somatoplasm theory. After the allegation of August Weismann, Neo-Lamarckism has come, which explains germplasm theory. So these are the four theories evolved: Darwinism, Neo-Darwinism, Lamarckism, Neo-Lamarckism. The last one is Hugo de Vries theory, that is mutational theory. Mutational theory is given by Hugo de Vries theory. According to that, variations, nothing but saltations takes place and they are transferring through the genes. About that, principles of inheritance, there was a good session. We will about mutational theory in molecular base of inheritance, we already learned. Even though genetics, nothing but principles of inheritance part, we use it to recall the mutational theory. So many adaptations, that mutations takes place in the genes. Genetic mutations maybe happens in the chromosomes, chromosomal mutations, frameshift mutations. So different types of mutations we will learn in the next lesson, that is principles of inheritance. I hope this class you understand that is different theories of evolution, how the evolution happened, explained by these all five theories. What are the theories? Darwinism, Neo-Darwinism, Lamarckism, Neo-Lamarckism, and Hugo de Vries theory. Hugo de Vries is the scientist. He proposed the theory, mutational theory. Clear? So attend the assignment by reading textbook lines. Thank you guys.